Hi Aries, I hope you guys are doing great today. This is going to be general messages for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus for January 6th to the 12th of 2020. Guys, we are going to start off with the astrology, but as I always say, if this message doesn't resonate, please don't try to make it fit. Definitely check out your moon sign, your rising sign, and your Venus sign for full clarity. And remember, the energies could always be reversed or flip-flop if we're talking about anyone specific, okay? Having to do with any sort of connection. But the energy in the sky is so crazy and great and wonderful and life-changing that's starting. And I know that sounds very bogus and dramatic. I realize that. But no kidding, right, for this week. And so there were 4 things I want to talk about, and I want to front load it, front and center, and then we're just going to focus on the cards, right? So if you don't want to hear the astrology, definitely fast forward to where you see me pulling the cards. But let's get right into this. On January 8th, we have Jupiter conjunct the south node of Capricorn. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the nodal energies and what it even means, the south node is what's stagnant in an area of life, right? Something that is way beyond past its expiration date. And then the north node is what we need to develop to achieve inner balance and fulfillment. And we all have our own unique placements within our natal chart, but this is what's going on for the collective right now. So we have the south node of Capricorn that's going on, right? And the south node is all about karma. So this is where the energies will be meeting up this week with our karmic past, where we'll be pushed to look at our past. The past year, maybe even beyond that for sure, but what's coming forward with us, you know, what are we detaching from, are the questions we need to be asking. You know, what have you been holding yourself back from as far as your ability to become victorious in something having to do with relationships or business? Where have you been holding yourself back? Where have we all been holding ourselves back? Jupiter is going to help us to tap into our wisdom to figure out what needs to be implemented, which is nurturing that north node energy in Cancer. All right, which is where that's placed, so that we can all grow from it, okay? And then on the 10th, we have the full moon lunar eclipse happening at 20 degrees of Cancer, okay? So there are going to be 2 of these. This is one, and then the next one's going to be in the summer. And I'm calling the 6-month window a 6-month workspace to work on and work out, something that needs to end, be transformed, or really focused on in order for us to move forward. So the moon's at home in Cancer, so it's going to be a little intense, but this is us identifying what needs nurturing and cultivating in our lives. All of us are going through it. So the thing to know here, though, is that as you're identifying what needs to be transformed, ended, whatever, there's this new something sneaking in the back door, and it may not be very obvious to you at first, but it will become obvious. We have other supportive energies in the sky that are going to help us with that. The third thing I want to mention is on the 11th, we have Uranus going direct. And Uranus is all about surprises. It's the boom planet. That's what I've been calling in the past couple of videos, the boom planet. It's a shaker planet, movement, lots of movement. And it's been in retrograde since August. So this is what we need really now to get us out of any area in our life that we feel like we're in a rut. You know, and this illuminates where we've been feeling stuck. And he's in Taurus, okay? So Taurus is going to be helping us to see what needs adjusting or changing in our physical 3D world. And whatever structures there are in our life that just aren't going to be working for us anymore, they need to be torn down and they need to be innovated, updated, or changed. And as you do this, Uranus is going to be bringing you in this new pentacle energy that can be resources of some kind, you know. If it's about career that needs some work in your life, this definitely does indicate either a new job coming in or an idea hitting you, some seed cracking open in your mind and in your soul of what you actually want to do for work. A lot of you realizing that you're not on the right path as far as what you're studying, anything like that. This can also be anything that has to do with emotional, mental, or physical connection, new people entering your life where you're going to feel connected in the way that speaks to your soul. You know, you being with those right people, because I'm always going to come back to the fact that this is all about what we need to do to achieve that inner balance and fulfillment. And the last thing I want to mention is on January 11th to 12th, depending on where in the world you live, we have this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. This is a big energy because it's in addition to everything that I've mentioned. Plus, this only happens every 34 years. you know. So this is the ending of a 34-year cycle, and we're going into a new 34-year cycle. And the cycle that we're coming out of is very much like a pentacle energy, right? Very much earth energy, having to do with money, possessions, things that we acquire in that way, right? Those of you who are old enough, if you just think back to the past 34 years and you think about the stock market and the real estate market, and you just think about how divided the social classes have become, right? So it really is all integrated with this idea of possession and resources, right? But now we're entering the age of air. And everybody's calling it the age of Aquarius, which I certainly believe it is. Aquarius is an air energy. And, you know, what rules, it's Uranus rules Aquarius, which is all about, first of all, thinking outside the box, but also technology. So we're entering this new 34-year cycle of doing things different, having to do with technology. But I'm also looking at the other air energies, which is Gemini and Libra, and which Gemini's ruler is Mercury. So it has to do with communication, and what's Libra's ruler is Venus. So anything Venusian, things that we do for that we love, that we appreciate, all of these things are going to become updated. Our relationship with money, that's very Venusian. So all of these things are going to be at play here into this new cycle, and it's going to be happening with the help of Pluto coming in as the transformer, which is really going to be helping us to either transform or allow something to die off, right, in order for us to live differently. And then Saturn is going to be in there helping us to mature, right? Saturn's going to help us to create that new foundation for this next 34-year cycle. Now, at the same time, guys, it's very important for you to identify, what did Jupiter help you to see that's really good in your life? Because that good can still come with you, absolutely. That relationship, that job, that hobby, those friendships, those family connections, all that's good, delicious, and beautiful in your life for sure can come with you. Identify it. Uranus is going to help you make it even more solid and deepen it even to a greater extent. So really, it's good stuff. The change part, in many of the areas, like anything else in life, is always going to be a little uncomfortable, or a lot of bit uncomfortable, depending on your situation. Absolutely. And for many of you, this can feel like a very, it can feel like a lot of loss for a lot of people. In the same way, depending on your placements, your personal placements in your chart, it could also feel like big obvious gifts are happening, you know, externally. So it really does depend on your placements, but regardless, at the end of all of this is a good space for all of us. So that's the astrology part, and I really think it's very important for us to be very mindful of that as we're moving forward. I mean, it goes way beyond this week, and it's certainly not like anything is going to happen, you know, at the drop of a dime this week like that, right? This is where it's like the doors opening. You follow? Doors opening. Like I've been saying, it's kind of like, there's a lot of people like, oh, you know, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, you know, and no, we're not supposed to know yet. It's like, I was told, I live in New York, so it'd be like somebody coming to my door and saying, Jackie, you can't stay here anymore. You gotta go. This is just like a toxic situation for you, or even if you don't realize it now, it's just really not a good place for you. There's this other thing in Ohio that's so much better for you. And I'm like, Ohio? I don't want to move to Ohio. You know, nothing against Ohio, but I've never been there. I'm not familiar with it, and I like my place in New York. No, come on, Jackie, you got to go. So I get in my car, and I'm leaving my familiar, going to this other place. Now, I could be nervous about it in a negative way, or I could be nervous and excited about it. I'm going to decide how I end up handling it, right? So I have to leave the space of unfamiliar. But as I'm leaving, I'm still going to be pretty familiar with the beginning leg of the trip. But then after a certain point, I'm going to be in this area where I really have no idea where I'm going or what I'm doing, right? Because it's very unfamiliar to me, right? And that's kind of what it is. Like, it's just the not knowing. But I can be excited, and I can know that there are going to be some challenges along the way. I'm certainly going to be getting some blessings maybe on this road trip, meeting people I would have never met before that maybe will end up having an impact on my life in a positive way. And, you know, and of course I don't know what Ohio looks like. I've never been there, but I'll know once I get there. I'll know then. Right? And that's kind of where we're all at, right? Right now, it's just enough to understand that there are certain things in our life that need to be changed, and we need to stay open to it and trust and be open to the change in whatever path it takes us on, because it's really all good. Two of fire, two of wands, new life. Yeah, that's your crowning. Let's see what your gift is for the week. Three of air, three of swords. Okay, let's see about that. And your challenge. Messenger of air. Wow. Okay. Nice. Let me put these guys over here. Okay. So let's get the Three of Air going here. So Three of Air, Air of Swords. Okay. So it's like Three of Sword energy. Now normally a lot of times we look at that as, oh, it's the third party energy. That's the energy of pain. And yeah, it's a card of pain. And this is a gift for you. So let's talk about this. When we're talking about a Three of Air energy, it's a Three of Swords. So the Three of Swords, it's one sword is you, one sword is the person or situation that you're dealing with, and then the third sword is something external to that that's creating some sort of pain and a feeling of betrayal coming in. So this can be one of a couple of things. It could certainly be, if you're in a relationship, a third party. It doesn't have to be. This can be somebody being grossly irresponsible with money in a way that it ends up impacting you. This can be, if you're in a relationship, this could be them siding with people against you. That could be a deep feeling of betrayal. That can create a definitive kind of pain. This could also be you dealing with the person where all of a sudden their mask falls off and you realize you're not dealing with the person you thought you were dealing with at all. And all of a sudden you're just like, what the hell happened? And you feel the sense of betrayal because this person was not who and what they said they were. If it has to do with work, this can have to do with you getting overlooked for a promotion or you not getting what was promised to you. But all of things are gifts in disguise, guys, because each of these are going to end up having their own set of promises on the other side. So let's get a card for your recent past, where you are now, your challenge, and the outcome, and then we'll put qualifiers for them. Okay? Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Nice outcome energy, that's for sure. Three of Pentacles, Page of Wands, I like that. All right, so in your recent past, we have the Justice card, which is about fairness. But then we have the Page of, the Four of Pentacles, which is about feeling a lot of greed. So if this has to do with money, this could, you really thinking about fairness, right, in your recent past, and you'd be like, I don't think I'm being treated really fairly at work when it comes to money. I feel like I should be getting a raise, or I've been working extra or overtime and I just feel like I'm not getting paid it. Something funny is going on as far as fairness with my business partner, anything like that. Okay. In the same way, having to do with relationship, you could be very front and center in your recent past with the idea of justice, the idea of fairness, and you realizing that somebody is just not giving you what you're giving. They're not communicating with you in the way that you communicate. They're not showing up the way that you show up. The intimacy is not there in the same way that you're giving. There's this lack of reciprocity, and this idea of you thinking front and center about justice and about you thinking, I don't know, am I getting and am I giving what I should be? And remember now, this is in your gift, this thinking about this. Now, where you are now, the Moon card, great. I love this because the Moon card is very much getting very deep inside of yourself and getting very honest about what you really want. Because the Moon energy is about what we do in secret, what we feel in secret, what we feel deep inside. It's the subconscious. And I have a very Jungian approach to the Moon energy. I really do. I don't think it's like malicious secrets that are being held. I never viewed this card that way. I think it's way more positive. This is about us getting to a point in us, meaning you, getting to a point in your growth process and in your self-development, the work that you're doing on yourself, you getting to a point in your subconscious where you're all of a sudden able to access information that you weren't able to access before, learn things about yourself that you weren't aware of before, and not because you're not emotionally intelligent, but because your psyche was protecting you for one reason or another. And it's just you having these, all of a sudden, these revelations. But what's beautiful about the Moon card, if you see it, you see here this path. First of all, they got the crab coming out of the water, right? And that's a Cancer energy, right? Because it's the Moon, right? But this is coming out, new path. This is a new path. And we have the luminary of the Sun and the Moon. So it's just, there's a blessing about this energy, about you getting really honest with yourself and you recognizing needs that you have, that you kind of felt echoes of, but you weren't able to put a name to. Things that you were just, now you're really identifying like how you tick and what you need. And there's a sense of maturity about this. And Saturn is helping us get to that very real space. And at the same time, you were feeling some anxiety about this for sure. You were feeling some depression about it, but you're coming out of it. You're coming out of it. That's the Nine of Swords. It's the hardest part is over. Now you're on the upswing. You're on the upswing. So I feel like some of you felt like you were treated very unfairly in some way. And then you got really honest with yourself and you just started to feel better about things once you were able to really tap into your own level of consciousness. Now, as far as the challenge in this gift, we do have the Ace of Wands, and the challenge doesn't have to be real. And by the way, guys, this gift side doesn't have to have anything to do with the challenge. This could have to do with work, career. This could have to do with relationship. This could be relationship. That could be family situation. You apply it however you see fit. But in your challenge here with this gift is the Ace of Wands reverse. And the Ace of Wands reverse is about a stagnation, about a lack of passion, something not moving forward. Okay? Something not moving forward. And the thing is, while we're dealing with this Three of Air energy and we're dealing with this energy of pain, I do feel like the pain has pushed you to recognize what's been fair, what's not. Recognizing that you weren't getting back what you were actually giving. And it really pushed you into a space while you were feeling this anxiety, many of you even depression for a time. You were very much tapping into your inner self and really learning from the situation. It was a big lesson in this situation. But here we are, you're just afraid. You're afraid of a new cycle. You're afraid of something really just absolutely being over, and now you being in the space of the Emperor, being the Emperor here, Aries, Emperor. I mean, it's like you're afraid of a sense of yourself for some reason. There's something here that you're afraid to take absolute control over. There's something, it could have to do with your career, where you know you need to have this new cycle. You know you need to have this new beginning. You do. Whether it's in your career, a lot of you are in your career starting over. I do know that. A lot of you are changing paths. A lot of you have made big decisions in this way. I just know this from all the readings that I've been doing. However, I'm getting here that you're feeling very trepidatious about actually taking the bull by the horns, right? And really being able to push forward. But the thing is this. Even though you're afraid of this, this energy is here for you. Don't be afraid of it. This is really powerful for you. Don't be afraid of it. Things are going to be presenting themselves to you, Aries, where you're going to be like, oh man, like things are, it's like a lot of synchronicity. Things are just going to be lining up for you to feel empowered, for you to make the choices and changes that you need to in your life, whether it has to do with relationship, whether it has to do with career. So it's like you're afraid of this gift that's coming in. I mean, the Emperor is so positive and really heated because guess what? You're building, man. Three of Pentacles, nice. It's the architect energy. You're building. You're building, and this is a new cycle. This is a new cycle that's going to bring you so much passion, and you're so motivated once this idea is exposed to you. Like something is coming through that scares you, but at the same time opened your eyes with this Emperor energy. And this whole thing had to happen. This is a gift. This pain, whatever was painful that happened, is a gift because it's pulling you onto this new path. So for others of you, this could also be, I do want to mention the Three of Air, the third sword, because we're talking about how there are three swords involved. Like one is you, one is the person or situation, and the other is an external thing. This really can just be the third sword, being this relationship just not working out. The third sword could just be this trajectory that you've had your career on is just not giving you what you're looking for. You're not finding the success that you want. You're just not. And you feel like at a point you're banging your head against the wall. And it's painful. I mean, it's internally painful because what's inherent in this is a feeling on some level or another that you feel like you're lost or you're failed or something like that. And you really need to be more forgiving of yourself if you're feeling like that. I mean, this is the ebb and flow of life. And this was all very necessary, because if it wasn't for the pain of this, you would not be getting so front and center with your inner self. You would not be unraveling parts of yourself that need unraveling. You wouldn't be tapping into this Emperor energy, and you wouldn't be able to have this energy of now of building and be having a successful, passionate new cycle that you're starting. So you really, I mean, I think that's entirely positive. It really is. Two of Fire is nice. I mean, I like it. It's about just recognize you get the whole landscape in front of you. It's like you got your will in one hand and the world in the other. You're surrounded by wisdom. Lots of passion there to start something new. Messenger of air. Okay, listen. The challenge here, messenger of air, means you have to get in touch with what it is that the stories that you've been telling yourself about your life. Because this is about false perceptions and false stories and just old ways of thinking, okay? And this is about needing to update any sort of negative pattern thinking that you've had going on. And this is going to be a challenge for you. But that's what messenger of air means. It's challenging the messages of truth that we tell ourselves. All right? It's profound energy. It's actually a big energy. You know, really facing that front and center. Interesting. Okay, so having to do with this, recent past, now, okay. Two of Cups in your challenge, Ace of Swords, nice. Okay. So we have Two of Pentacles in the recent past, in the reverse. So this is you really struggling to make a decision. So it seems like there was a little analysis paralysis going on here. And you actually like not feeling fully connected, not feeling heard in the way that you want to, and just feeling like whatever you were doing, you were just not reaching your wish fulfillment. So this could certainly be you guys in a job where you were trying really hard at a job and you were trying to do the best that you could, and you just got to a point where it was just like, I don't feel like I'm being heard. I don't feel like I'm connecting to this. This is not really what it was supposed to be. But you knowing you need to make this decision about, should I stay on this path or should I go? And what should I do if I leave here? And just feeling this sense of conflict emotionally, right? Because look at the rough waters there, but just not being able to really do it, even though you're acknowledging that you're not getting your wishes fulfilled. This is a little bit of a frustrating energy here. Okay, and then in you right now, we have the Death reverse, which is about the end of a cycle. And I love the Death card. And then we have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is holding something. This is about like self-protection. So whereas I feel like you're in a space of self-protection while a cycle is ending, the cycle is accompanied with some pretty passionate feelings of either anger, resentment, bitterness, guilt, some sort of hurt like that. But what is beautiful about the Death card is that it's a death. As soon as something dies, something comes in and begins. And this is kind of what I was talking about something sneaking in your back door, right? That full moon lunar eclipse happening in Cancer. It's like something's ending, but something is sneaking in the back door. But at the same time, you're feeling like very close to the chest. You're really protecting yourself. Now, the challenge that you're experiencing here is this Two of Cups energy. So this doesn't have to do with an intimate other. This can certainly be with an employer, an employee, a business partner, a friend, family member, where you guys are actually sharing your heartfelt, honest intentions and just being very pure and allowing vulnerability in. And this is where you're struggling within this dynamic, okay? And that doesn't surprise me because we had the Four of Pentacles here, which we just mentioned about you being in self-protection mode, but there's definitely a cycle that's over. Right, and this is your fear here. You're fearing this. You're afraid to be vulnerable because you know that there is an end of a cycle. So you're recognizing that there's an end of a cycle, and you're wondering if you're ever going to allow yourself to be really vulnerable again. There's a little bit of beating yourself up here, and please don't do that, Aries. Don't do that. This is an end of a cycle. There's an end of a cycle, and you're just going to be in this space where, like, I don't know. I don't know if I could ever share my cup with somebody again. I don't know if I want to. I think I just want to be alone. It's kind of like that kind of energy. Like, everybody just leave me to hell alone. I just want to be me, do me, and I don't want to deal with anybody. And now, interesting, in the outcome energy, we do have this new truth coming in. And this new truth that's coming in is going to illuminate the fact that you're not going to be able to have growth in this area. So whatever this is, in this relationship, in this career, you know, with this friendship, this family connection is just not going to be successful. You may have to just love them from a distance, right? But in all of this is this idea of needing to get very real with yourself and really get front and center with what it is that you've been telling yourself about this relationship. You know, is the narrative that you created about the relationship, does it align with what their reality is in the 3D? Is your ability within this particular area of your career, are you as versed and as strong in it as you should be in order to get to the point of success that you feel like you need to be, or you want to be, or that you deserve? You know, maybe there's some sort of like repositioning of your compass that's necessary here, is the vibe that I get. Because whatever this is in your challenge, something is going to be hitting you where it's going to be a very clear truth that this is not the right path for you. And you really need to get in touch with what it is that you've been telling yourself about this person or this situation in order for you to change the trajectory. Now remember, this is only a week, guys. So this is just meditating on this for the 6th through the 12th. This is not the rest of your life. So there's transition happening here. There's transition happening here, for sure. Lots of air energy, though. But it's all bringing you onto this new path. That's good. That's really good. And the 2 of fire is good. Because it means whatever path that you're ending up on, you're going to feel passionate about it. It's got a passionate new kind of beginning. So I do like that, sure. All right, so let's pull some love for those of you who are open for love. Those of you are open for love. And guys, just one thing about relationships I do want to just mention. I mean, I guess this should go for like all the time, but remember before we were talking about the nodal energies, and I mentioned that that north node, it's like really going to be pushing us to figure out this path where we're going to be able to achieve inner balance and fulfillment. Those of us who are in relationships with very toxic individuals, whether they have any of the dark triad traits, doesn't mean they have any sort of disorder, but the traits, you know, narcissistic traits, the borderline traits, the anything like that, where the ability for them to connect and be on the up and up is challenged. Let's just say that. That's going to be very hard for you to ever find an inner balance and inner fulfillment, right? And that kind of dynamic. So it's just something I want you to be mindful of if it has to do with that, you know? Soulmate. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this, and they will manifest physically. Ooh, ooh. Yes, Aries. Soulmate. I like it. Soulmate. It's an interesting concept, isn't it? It just kind of is. I have my thing on that, you know. Those of you who've been watching me know I'm all about the red thread energy. I way prefer that because it's like the lessons that we get with the soulmate, except the red threads stay with us for our time here. Soulmates often don't, you know. They're in our lives for seasons and then they end up needing to leave once the lessons are learned. So who knows? But I look at these things and I'm always mindful of the fact that the person who created this card probably had a very, you know, deep, beautiful soul connection in mind. So we'll go with that. The butterfly, nice boat. Okay. Kisses. Okay, so let's look at the boat energy first. Is receiving what you need, progression, arriving, moving on, closure issues. So issues with closure. And we have the butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing the inner child and growth. And then we have kisses, unconditional loving, giving, receiving, affection, falling in love. This is nice. I feel like, I don't know, Aries, I feel very strongly like those of you who are in a space where you're trying to get over a relationship, you are going to be having, you know, finding this closure with the boat, healing whatever inner child, going through whatever next phase, growth kind of thing you're meant to be involved in, having it kind of butterfly into a beautiful beginning. Unconditional love, giving and receiving, falling in love. So this is like the action of falling in love. Your soulmate is already with you in spirit. Believe this and they will manifest physically. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like you're meeting somebody new, Aries. Those of you open to love, you're meeting somebody new. If you still have pain in your heart and in your energy for somebody else, that's going to be healing and you're going to be meeting somebody new. So it's like all that pain from the Three of Swords energy was all necessary for you to actually move the trajectory of your path into a new space, for you to start on this new path where there's a lot of passion and it just is more in alignment with what you need. Yeah, very clear. It's a clear message right there. Yep. Okay. Let's get a healing energy and then we'll wrap this up. Healing energy. Healing energy for Aries. January 6th to the 12th, 2019. Healing energy. Advice. Advice for Aries. Advice for Aries. What does Aries need? No. Victim consciousness. Okay, I mean, this kind of goes in alignment, kind of what we just read, right? I mean, it's stop blaming others and taking responsibilities for what you are creating. Ooh, ouch. That is very hard to hear. It is. Guys, don't come after me. This is what this energy means, so let's apply it however you see fit. But it's very easy to think that life isn't fair and point the finger at others. We all do it sometimes. So if you're resonating with this, just don't beat yourself up. If you hear yourself saying stuff like, you know, life is unfair, bad things always happen to me, or I'm not good enough, nobody cares about me, why me? You know, I can't do what I want to do, you know, things like that. Then you're losing your power, right? And you're nourishing that victim mentality, and you're ascertaining your spot in that victim club, right, as they call it. So your inner victim can stop you though from moving forward by creating dramas and making you judge others. You know, you find like you're just very jealous of others, or telling you that you don't deserve better, and then keeping you stuck in like this financial rut for many of you. So you need to build your internal confidence and self-worth and courage and get out of your comfort zone and really work on expanding and growing in all areas of your life here. Because the lighter side of the victim archetype is the victorious part, which can help you hold your power without getting angry and attacking others. And it can also help you out in creating healthy boundaries and act from a place of honesty and sincerity and integrity and compassion and love and all those good things. So yeah, solid piece of advice. I guess that's good for anybody, right, to be mindful of, for sure. Aries, that is what I have for you this week. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.